How are you doing today, folks? My name is Kyle Lanfear, and I have a review for you of the Hogue EX-04. This is a 9.2 inch overall length. Now, mind you, these stats are different than Blade HQ. I have measured them and weighed them out multiple times. These are accurate. The ones on listed are not. So this is a 9.2 inch overall knife, 4.1 inch blade. It is a 5.25 inch handle, 154 cm steel. Again, that is a 4.1 inch blade of 154 cm steel. This is a modified Wharncliffe. This is a hollow ground blade, right hand tip down only, so that's a deal breaker for some. 5.71 ounces overall. This is a plunge lock, or button lock. This little piece right here. And this is also a collaboration with Alan Lishowitz. Now there is the specs and the professionalness out of the way. So I've had this knife for a while now. This is probably about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years old. It's been sharpened, it's been used, it's been beat on. Pieces of this coating have kind of worn off, which in my personal opinion actually adds to the character of the knife. Some people like Safe Queens. Personally, I like it to show use, genuine use, not the whole distressed finish where it's not actually been used at all. It's just made to look old, which is something I really understand at all. But to each his own. So a couple notable features of this knife are this, first of all, this G-Mascus handle. It is a heavily contoured G10 with multiple colors layered throughout it. Makes a very kind of interesting look to it. The handle it's great. Hogue is most commonly associated with making grips for firearms, and it really shows in their the machining and the time they take to really just make the handle right and to fit well. I got a buddy of mine who wears a size medium glove. He's very small hands. I'm obviously a 2XL, and we both were able to find ways to hold this knife to where it just fits like an absolute glove and everything's just perfect. So I really want to take just a second to really emphasize just how good this handle is. This also has a secondary safety feature, so where you can just press that button up and this will no longer disengage. It's rock solid. Press it down, hit the button, go shut. Now this can definitely whip close. I'm on camera and I have a pretty bad habit of cracking my phone and hitting with a knife or something like that, so I'm not going to be doing that on camera. But the action, very good. No heater wrist flick, no wrist flick at all. Again, disengage that plunge lock, and let's just try kind of far away from the camera. Yeah, see, not too good. So the action is honestly it's great. I really need to specify that it's not showing all that well on camera, but this is very good. It did take a while to break in, so it was kind of hard to flick open at first. It was even harder to flick close. Oh, there it goes, first try. Well, 5th try. But over time, it's breaking in very well. You have this little Hogue logo on the pocket clip, Lishowitz on the normally lock scale, but we'll just say the back side of the knife, on the backside of the blade for Lishowitz 154 cm steel, Hogue US EX-04 to the model number. So the blade's definitely not sterile, but it's pretty minimal, which I definitely appreciate. The billboarding on things like Microtex, for example, they drive me absolutely crazy. The blade, which is a modified Wharncliffe, kind of this weird upsweeping hollow ground Wharncliffe with this kind of just, I'm not really sure, I guess it's like a fuller, but it's not a fuller. It's hard to explain. It's great for cutting. The 154 cm steel is, again, one of my favorite steels, probably my favorite steel, honestly. And it really facilitates, it takes a good keen edge, can polish very nicely, and also is very easy to sharpen. So it's just kind of my ideals. The super steels and everything else are okay. I don't really mind sharpening that much as long as I don't have to be there for a long time. This knife I have sharpened multiple times, and we're talking like 10 minutes. Now, I don't mean stropping it. I mean taking this down to where the edges are rolled and everything is messed up, and then fixing it in 5 to 10 minutes. It's just incredible. I can't sit there and sharpen a knife for 20, 30 minutes, an hour. Some people can. That's awesome. It just starts to drive me crazy. Any type of enjoyment just leaves me. And my whole thing about this hobby is, just to enjoy yourself and to have fun. And the moment you stop, what's the point? These things bring me joy, so I keep buying them, I keep sharpening them, I keep babying them, I keep loving them, I keep using them. And the moment that stops being the case is the moment I'm probably going to sell it. This knife has never been sold. So this in particular knife is actually being given away. So on Facebook, I listed this for sale. I frequently do discounts for law enforcement officers, paramedics, firemen, military, ex or current. So I had this listed at was considerably under retail. This is a $220 knife. I would think I had it for like 140, 150, something like that. And somebody approached me about it. Wasn't trying to negotiate with me on the price, just pretty much straight up told me that they can't afford it. But I've been looking for one of these for a while. And I told him, hey, you know what? Are you a Leo law enforcement officer? Are you a paramedic, firefighter, anything like that? And he said, oh, actually, I am. I've been doing this for 25 years, or excuse me, 20 and a half years, but 20.5 years. So I was like, okay. Well, immediately I'm skeptical because a lot of people say that when they hear about saving money, but they don't actually represent that. Well, he very quickly presented his identification, no issues, and he's the real deal. So I offered him $100. Immediately took $40 off of it, and he showed me a picture of his bank account, which is not advisable. I definitely appreciate the trust you put in me, man, but that is not an advisable thing to ever do. And even that was a little too much. So a couple days passed, and I was just thinking about stuff. I saw the Blade HQ video with the whole Continue Mission donation thing and a whole bunch of other different stuff. And I just, some reason it just kept bringing me back to this man's story. So he broke his back. I don't remember all the exact specifics. I'm not trying to get into that. I don't want to misquote anything. But he broke his back, is no longer able to do what he loved, and now he's kind of a desk jockey, so to speak. He sent me pictures of scars and everything else. So again, this story is very much legit. I just kept thinking about it. For some reason, like days later after we had stopped talking, I just couldn't get this man out of my head. So I hit him up today on Facebook, and I was like, I'm just going to give this to you. For free of charge, no issue at all. Like, just genuinely thank you for your service. I'm sorry that things have gone poorly for you. I really hope they improve, and hopefully this will help. And you know that while the media might demonize you, there's this big push where like law enforcement officers, firefighters, paramedics, military, they're these monsters, man. But don't get me wrong, there's definitely monsters out there that wear uniforms. But for the most part, man, y'all are heroes. And I'm very happy and I'm very proud to be able to donate this to a genuine hero. Hopefully he watches the video. Maybe he'll comment below. If not, just know that I have nothing but the utmost respect for you. And I really and genuinely hope you love this piece. This has actually brought me a lot of joy. I listed it for sale very begrudgingly, but I'm just happy it's going to have a good home. And you talked about liking this so much and just wanting it to be on the secondary market because you couldn't afford the retail price. Well, you're getting it for free now, brother. And again, like, this is just the smallest token of my appreciation I could possibly give you. I can't afford more, but like, you deserve infinitely more. So as always, I was on a little bit of a tangent there. So let's get back to this. So my overall opinions on this knife are actually very positive. I use this a lot. I mean a lot, and it only actually has little bits of wear. So the DLC or Cerakote or whatever coating Hogue puts on these knives, fantastic. It has withstood so much and has very minimal wear. I have used coatings through ZT knives and stuff like that, and went through a box one time and there's a tear on the coating. This thing has gone through probably thousands of boxes. There was a brief period of time where I worked in a warehouse and I processed, I think it was like 1,200 boxes a day on average. And this was my baby. I had a regular, kind of like, what's that word? Utility knife. But just, I have bigger hands, so it was just really, I just kept getting these hot spots and I was getting blisters and everything else. So I actually went and bought this knife for that purpose. And, it's a big knife. It's kind of scary. It kind of had a little bit of a polarizing and negative effect when I kept pulling it out. But after a while, people got used to it. And I processed tons and tons and tons of cardboard and zip ties and things you probably shouldn't, use a knife for. And it just held up wonderfully. This is an absolute workhorse of a knife. And I love it. It's just amazing. The plunge lock, very fun. Again, while processing stuff like that, you're going to want to engage the safety lock. While holding it and bearing down on it and working with it, you could definitely press this button, disengage it, and that would be an immediate problem. But just as an overall piece, I love this knife. I'm actually kind of sad to see it go, but I'm really happy that it's going to a good home and a good person. So if I had to give this knife an overall score, first off, we need to discuss a couple different things. The tip down right hand carry only pocket clip. It's kind of a niche thing. Most people carry tip up. I don't really care all that much. I do prefer tip up, but a tip down isn't a deal breaker for me. I do carry SOCOMs and a couple other different knives that just have this. Also, all of my autos, for whatever reason, I carry, tip down, even if you don't need to. To me, just being able to actuate it a little quicker. So that's definitely something that needs to be noted, and a point will be deducted for that. They also have the spoon clip, which, as you can tell, has by all means been used. There's definitely some wear and tear on it, but I'm in general not a huge fan of the spoon clip. It's it's not bad by any means. It definitely slides into your pocket. Definitely has good retention. Just aesthetically, it's not the nicest. And this knife is something that really does the best it can to be as aesthetically pleasing as possible. Again, this modified Warren clip is a weird shape, but it's very kind of art house. The lines of the knife continue throughout. Like, it's just, whether you like this knife or in this design or not, you definitely have to appreciate the levels that Hogue went to just to make everything as detailed and intricate and kind of just unique and flowing as possible. So the pocket clip is an immediate detractor. So the hardware, as you can see, is not proprietary, but it is a little hard to get in there. This is definitely a pain in the ass to disassemble. So there are a couple negatives to it. Also, if you are not familiar with sharpening, because this has a slight recurve and then it also goes up and then another slight recurve, which you can't quite see on camera, but it's definitely there. It's not an easy piece to sharpen. Even with it being 154 cm steel, I'm pretty proficient at sharpening, so it wasn't really an issue for me. But if you're a new sharpener, this is going to give you some definite challenges. Is it a really big deal? Not really. You can by all means learn. It's not hard. It's a little bit of a challenge. You need to really pay attention to your lines and your curvatures. Can't say it. Curvatures. Can't talk today apparently. But with those things being said, this really is just a great knife. I'm probably going to be picking up another Hogue pretty soon. Just probably a standard drop point or maybe even a Tonto. But this modified Warrenclyffe has served me very well. So with all that being said, this is going to end the review. My overall score on this knife is about an 85. It really is a great knife. There are some detractors. Some of them are just design choices. Other pieces are just things you notice over time and you wish there was at least some type of, variation. I understand how the knife works. The pocket clip being right there would not be ideal. It'd stick out a whole bunch and it actually might even be a hot spot. But it is definitely a thing. When I review knives, I'm not reviewing them off of my personal preference. I'm taking them down point by point and trying to figure out exactly what makes them tick, what is the good, the bad, the negative. So while this doesn't particularly bother me, it will definitely bother quite a few people. And I do believe it's the main reason this knife does not sell as well as some people would want it to. This is a discontinued knife. You cannot buy this anymore. You can find the 3-inch version, or excuse me, the 3.5-inch version on Blade HQ. The 4-inch is sold out pretty much everywhere. If you can find it, because they are discontinued right now, they are pretty cheap. I've seen them go for as low as $160, brand new. Again, that's the smaller variety. I haven't seen the 4-inches go. I haven't seen them anywhere, honestly. But once they're gone, that's just going to be it. And they might hold their value on secondary market, or they might skyrocket. You never really know. The secondary market is a very interesting and kind of convoluted beast. But again, an 85. An overwhelmingly positive score with just a few little setbacks that I had to knock some pretty decent sized points off of. But overall, Hogue did a phenomenal job, and I absolutely love this knife. A couple size comparisons really quickly. We're going to start off with my current EDC, which has not left my pocket since I got it. This is the TRM Atom. The Hogue is a very big knife. The Atom is a decent sized knife, so the Hogue is definitely bigger by quite a bit. We also have the Paramilitary 2, bigger than the PM2 by quite a bit. Again, the Hogue it's a big knife. The 3.5-inch version is considerably smaller. The handle is smaller, the blade length is smaller, so it's just it's an all-around smaller, more EDC friendly knife. But personally, I just enjoy big knives. So this is the full-size Benchmade Griptilian. It's definitely bigger than the Griptilian by quite a bit. So big knife, very nice knife, very unique knife. Just a fantastic worker too. Now if you want this to be a safe queen, I understand, but if you are like me and you genuinely want to use your knives to work and to work hard, you really cannot go wrong with the Hogue EX-04. And I'm very happy this is going to a great home. I will miss you, but you will serve somebody else well. Now, with that being said, I'm at 114 subscribers, which is amazing because I was not very far into it at all not too long ago. So I'm going to do a dedicated giveaway video for this piece, but if you happen to be watching this far in, first off, I appreciate your patience for listening to me ramble for 17 minutes. But this is going to go up for a giveaway. This is the CRKT Tie-Tac. This is just the drop point. I'm just not a fan of Tontos. For the most part, the Hogue ones actually kind of appeal to me. This is pretty much brand new. Now, I want to make this very clear. The action on this is phenomenal once you break it in. A buddy of mine has the same exact thing. I play with it all the time. But actually breaking it in is kind of a pain in the ass. So right now it's not broken in. It can flick out just fine. It will drop with a little bit of a shake. Thumb set deployment is fine. But you'll get to the point where you press this button and it just rockets down. But right now it goes, but it takes a little bit. But soon, if you play with this enough and use it enough, it'll just drop straight down. This is a Brian Ty and, well, just a Brian Ty collaboration with CRKT. It's a good knife. Small, not really my style, but definitely a good knife. I cut my little mat here. That's unfortunate. But anyways, I'm going to cut it here. As always, I love you all so very, very much. This community, the people in it, you're just good folks, and I am constantly honored to be a part of it. I'm sorry that this video is a little somber than usual. Normally I'm kind of bouncing off the walls, but I'm going to try to be a little more professional with my reviews, my unboxings, my discussions. You're going to see me go nuts like I always do. But for these, I want to kind of make it a little more professional. So that is your review of the Hogue EX-04. A video on this will be coming very shortly, probably immediately after this. This is going in the post office today. Hopefully I'll get it by Tuesday. I just also want to take a second that if you are a military, law enforcement, paramedic, medic, firefighter, anything between the lines, I just want to say thank you for your service. Again, the media likes to demonize you, but you're genuine heroes to me. And if you ever see anything on my channel that you're interested in, by all means, let me know. I give discounts, considerable discounts to law enforcement, just to say thank you. So as always, I love you all very much. Have a great day. Please do me a favor and be nice to one another. You know, there's too much negativity in the world, and let's just find a way to be good to each other. Take care. Bye.